Welcome back to the Bradley Real Estate Group, and we have some exciting news to share with you. Today, we are going to be going over the market report for January of this year, 2024, comparing it to last year, December of 2023, and then we're going to also compare January 2024 to January 2023 and just do a year of difference.
I'm so excited. Why do we do this? We do this because we want to bring you value. We want to make sure that you know what's going on in your area, whether you're ready to buy or sell now or in the future. We want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to make a good decision. First, we're going to start off with Erica. Can you tell me a little bit about what happened in January 2024 versus last month? Let's start there.
Yes, guys. So today we're going to talk about Richmond County versus Columbia County. But right now we're just going to focus on what happened in January. So about 30 days ago in Richmond County. So about 30 days ago, the number of closed sales were 118 as opposed to Richmond County in December, 156. So you can see that dramatic drop in sales. The average sales price was $207,000 versus last December at $210. So not that big of a difference, but the difference for sure in the number of closed sales. The average days on market in January of this year was about 88 days versus December, we're sitting at about 84. So maybe a week's difference. And then the average price per square feet were $117 per square feet in January versus $119 in December. What do you guys think the big dramatic drop from 118 to 156 to 118 in about a 30-day difference?
Yeah, Antonio, you had a good point. Can you say that?
Well, obviously, we're just getting over the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. People were spending money, right? This was the last year, New Year's parties and whatnot. And so people are trying to catch up on their bills right now, credit card bills and whatnot, and they're not focusing on spending money. They're actually focusing on recovery.
Makes sense. And looking at this, you can tell that really it wasn't the average sales price, it wasn't the average days on the market, it wasn't the average price per square foot, just the amount of sales. So not as many people bought house this month versus last month. Right. So it's not a dramatic,
which is more of a timing thing versus a bad or good market.
Exactly. So one thing that I would say, just from looking at these 2 months, is that Richmond County seemed to be pretty stable with their numbers. Maybe not the closed sales, that was a dramatic change, but it doesn't seem like a high increase in price or decrease in price. It's just the amount of people closed. That's a good thing if you can look at it that way.
One other thing that I do want to point out, the Feds did drop the interest rates last month in December to the lowest have been since they've actually gone up to the 7 and the 8s. And then, of course, in January, they brought them back up too. So this could be an effect of that because the rates did kind of tick up a little bit more.
Okay, so Erica, what does that tell you as a person that's very busy out there working with buyers and sellers? The Feds dropped the interest rate just a little bit in December, and we had, 40-ish more houses sold. So what's gonna happen when they do drop the rates, let's say in the summer? What do you think is gonna happen with listings?
Well, typically if they drop the rates, of course you're gonna have a lot more competition because our media does push the issue of how important the rate is, which sometimes that's not always the most important thing, but you will have an influctuation of buyers. There's gonna be a lot more competition. And of course, the listings we may have some listings, but it probably will not be enough to satisfy the amount of buyers that we have. So we're going to have a lot of bidding wars, I would think.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking too, the bidding wars. So it may not, and we'll see what happens with Columbia County because it's interesting, but I'm just hinting that it may not be that good of an idea if you're a buyer to be waiting until the interest rates go down, because it just seems like these prices ain't going down. Well, guys, if you haven't noticed, we have our lovely Vanessa De La Torre here, and she is a residential specialist with the team as well. And so today, Vanessa is going to be comparing Columbia County. Yes. Same thing for Columbia County.
Okay, so for Columbia County in December, we're going to do the closed number of sales was 181. And then for Columbia County in January, it was 152. So it did go down a little bit. But like you guys said, it could have been the rates come back from holiday and the rates. Okay. Now this is interesting. So you have Columbia County for December was 319. So 369,000 and 319. And then now in Columbia, it went up to 385,000. So it's a big jump.
So sales price just
it went up. And then Days on the market is honestly, it's not that bad. It's a 3-day difference. You went from 99 to 101
Okay.
in January. And then for the average square foot, you got 150 and it's coming up to about 158 now. In January is what it was.
And those $8 really do make a difference
They
because
do.
you can see
obviously
there
see in the price, average price for sales, it jumped.
from $369. So let's say $370 to $385. So that's like $15,000.
Yeah.
Price difference with $8 per square foot. Depending on how big your house is, that will make
Right.
the difference.
It does.
So what's your take on that? We see that the average days on the market didn't really change that much. So
did not budge.
So
What's the
it
price
took,
increase?
it took this price increases didn't really change the amount of days that it took to sell the house. So what's your take on that?
Well, what that is saying is this area, regardless of what's going on in the market, is going to do what it do, right?
Yeah.
People want to live there. Houses are going to sell. And it seems like there are still a lot of people that are moving away from the area too, obviously, or those sales wouldn't have gone up. But I mean, if you can take a look at the number of closed sales versus the number of closed sales in December for Columbia County, and you can see the drop is about the same as it was for Richmond County as well.
Right.
Yeah, for number of closed sales. But as far as the houses maintaining its value or increasing in value rather, that's a good thing that's going on in Columbia County, and we can clearly see that. Even though the sales dropped, the average sales price still went up.
So Erica, if you're a seller, right, and you're trying to interpret this data, can you tell me like, oh, are houses even selling right now with these higher interest rates?
I would definitely, as you can see, especially if you're in the Columbia County area, even with the prices going up almost 15,000-20,000 from 30-day mark, yes, people are still buying, but the price is definitely going to be the determinant of what people are going to do. So if I was a seller, I would definitely say making sure that I stay at market value, make sure my property is definitely priced correctly, because it seems like the houses that are priced correctly are selling.
Yeah.
Even at the 20,000 more than it was 30 days ago.
And even at the
Right.
higher interest rate.
Even
Right.
at a higher interest rate.
Yeah.
Because when you have an average days on market of close to 90, let's just say 90, Richmond County's 80 and Columbia County's a little over 90 at 100. When you see those days it's taking that long to sell, it's because there's not a lot of buyers in the market, right? So if there's not a lot of buyers in the market, then that means there's a lot of competition. And so what you want to do is, like Erica said, you definitely want to start your list price right where it needs to be so that you're competitive out of the gate, because the longer you sell on the market, it could become stale. So that's not a game that you want to play with, trying to over list the property when it's going to probably already sit for 90 days.
I mean,
Right.
and one thing that I will caution people, because remember, we just came out of this frenzy, right? You put the house on the market and in 2 hours, you had an offer already. And then now you go from maybe 2 weeks, days on the market, to 88 or 100, right? Days on the market. So this telling me that something is wrong with my agent because the house is not sold in 2 weeks? Or is that telling me that it's just a higher days on the market?
Well, I definitely would base it off the average days. Of course, if the average person in that area is taking 90 days, then 2 weeks is you're just getting started. But you also have to look at asking your agent the right questions. How many showings have I had at my property versus have I had any offers on my property? Because you will know 2 to 3 weeks in if you haven't had enough showings or if you haven't had any offers, because even though the average time is 3 months, you still want to make sure you're paying attention week to week what's going on with your property.
Right.
That's really good that you pointed it out. Great
Yeah.
information.
That's awesome. I just had to make sure that I'm getting the amount of showings, which are the key indicators of whether or not I'm priced correctly.
Right.
And if I'm overpriced, will I sit there for 88 or 100 days average? Or is there a possibility that I could be on the market even longer?
It's definitely a possibility. If you're not paying attention and your agent is not marking like, hey, I haven't, or even letting you know like, hey, you haven't had any showings in 3 weeks, then to me that's a price problem.
Well, we're going to transition now. We're going to do the same exact thing, but we want to show you. So this was month over month, right? December to January, comparing the two. We're going to stay tuned if you're not subscribed to us, because we will be doing February next month when we have a complete set of data. This is why pretty much this will always be 1 month in arrears, because we need complete data to tell you accurate numbers. So now we're gonna do the same thing, but we wanna show you a picture of what's happening, what happened in our market from last year to this year, because a lot has happened.
Yep.
Interest rates, war, and how does this affect real estate? And so now we're going to compare. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we want to show you a picture of what happened in our market from last year to this year, because a lot has happened.
Yep.
Interest rates, war, and how does this affect real estate? And so now we're going to compare January 2024 to January 2023, right? And so Antonio, can you give us the numbers of, okay, we have an idea what happened this year, but still refresh our memory. Hey, this year versus last year, we had this.
Yeah, so let's start in Richmond County. We look at the number of sales. In January of 2023, we had 150 sales take place in Richmond County. This year in 2024, we only had 118. So this is a year difference. You've got about 30 homes sold less than that sold last year. So then you go over to the average sales price of 207, and then in 2023 you had 210. So the average sales price is still pretty holding strong, which tells us that the Richmond County market has not weakened. Then we have an average days on market of 88 in 2024, and then 82 in 2023. Still about the same. And then the same thing with the average price per square foot is only $1 off. It was $118 in 2023, and it's $117 in 2024. So still a pretty strong market in Richmond County. And I like the average days on market, because 88 days on market is really not bad. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, we were looking at 4 or 5 months that you'd be on the market before.
Right.
So.
And so as much as we like to see strong sellers market, what does the statistic tell us about what a seller's market is? And really, we learned that anything under 5 months, it takes 5 months or less, it is a seller's market still. So it's strong, but it's still strong.
Yes.
So I would like to encourage you, if you have to sell your house, or if you're in a position where you would like to sell your house, or you're not sure, you can contact any of us to get a free comparable market analysis of your property, so that we can tell you what you can sell your house for or net, if that's what you're looking for. Or if you need an agent out of the area, maybe you don't live here, but you still will like this data, then reach out to any of us, and we'll gladly connect you with an agent in whatever city. Use your resources, and we have a strong network of people in Keller Williams that we can refer you to. So, all right, so any other things that you guys want to point out?
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to point out, and this is for the buyers, with the average days on market being 82 in 2023 and 88 in 2024, that's telling us for a whole year, you had a great opportunity to purchase a house. Maybe get your closing costs paid, maybe get a home warranty, get most of your repairs done, because when the sellers have to wait this long to get their property sold, they're more prone to negotiate with you. Like, you're on the market for 80 days and they've gotten a couple of offers.
Or maybe none at all.
Or none at all. Worst case scenario, none at all. Then they may pay closing costs. You have more room to negotiate at that point. Now, we don't know how long this is going to last.
Right.
Yeah, because apparently they are supposed to be reducing the rates in May. And who knows what that May market's going to look like when they reduce the rates.
Yes, definitely.
But one thing about it, when they do reduce the rates, it is a chance that not only will it be an influctuation of buyers, but if that does happen, that means that the prices of houses are going to increase. So unfortunately, whether the rate is low or high, you definitely need to look at and weigh all of your options before you just wait to see if the rate is going to drop or not.
And so you have to pick your poison, right?
Exactly.
For sure. Like, do you buy at a higher interest rate where you suck it up and pay a little bit higher right now, but you have a lower price, and then later you can refinance, right?
Yep.
And get a lower price, monthly price, or you wait and buy higher with a lower interest rate, but still end up making the same payment.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did you just say?
Because the payment's
Same
payment.
You'll make the same payment.
Exactly. So you can tell which side we would choose as agents, and we're telling you as a professional, we don't even know you, whoever is watching this and need to make this move.
Right.
This is what we would advise our family member. Buy now, suck it up for a little bit with the higher payment, and refinance later, because at least you would have bought the house for a little bit less than waiting until it's higher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And if your out-of-pocket expenses would be a lot less expensive than trying to pay, in a bidding war, you're paying your own closing costs. They're probably not going to repair the majority of the things because you have 4 people competing for the same house. I mean, they can contest when they purchased their house, a primary residence, it was a higher interest rate. When I purchased my house, and you did too, it was a higher interest rate because it was just that time for us to buy. So you do have to weigh all of your options, whether it's a higher interest rate or lower interest rate, what's going to fit your budget.
Yes.
Right. And we are all still capitalizing on that equity, and when the rates go down, we have the option of
Yeah.
Right.
You can refinance or cash out.
Yep.
All right. And then one thing that I would say, we're going to go over Columbia County
Okay.
for the same time frame. One thing that I would say, and then if you're a lender, you can comment or text us. But I've heard that, talking to our lender, that they will say wait till you have at least 1 point difference when you refinance. Like you go from a 7 to a 6, and it's like, okay, now is the time to pull the trigger. Because I just got asked that today, and they were like, hey, when would be the best time to refinance? And I would say when it would really make a difference would be if you could have at least save 1%. So just keep that in mind when the interest rates come down. If you bought at a 7 and they go down to a 5, that's perfect. 2%. That would make a huge difference in your monthly payment. All right, so now we're gonna compare January 2024 to January 2023. So in January 2024, which we just heard, 152 closed sales in Columbia County. Last year we had 131 closed sales. So what is that telling you? You know, since last year they've been ticking up. The sales have been ticking up in Columbia County. People are buying. It is a desirable area in our market. Now for the average sales price, it was $385,355 this year, and then last year it was $389,000 average sales price, which it tells us that it was actually about $4,000. The average sales price was about $4,000 higher last year than this year. Now the average
not a
days
big difference, but you know,
No.
it's a difference. So you can pretty much say it held steady.
It did. And then, so this year, 152 closed homes in January. And then for January of 2023, I was correct. 131 closed sales. So we had a difference of about 20 homes. And then the average sales price was $385,000 this year, and then last year $389,000. Average days on the market this year 101. Last year was 103. So I felt that was interesting because the average days on the market didn't really change. And I'm thinking that the difference there was that it was a shocker to people that the prices have been going up in Columbia County. Because if you go to the next column, the average price per square feet in January of this year was $158,000. The average price per square feet last year was $151,000. So we're only like $7 per square feet off in that whole year time frame. I really think that it was a shocker to people. I remember when specifically Evans, the city of Evans, was named one of the top cities to live in. And ever since then, price doubled instantly. Everybody was selling their house for double. Top city to live in. And while that's amazing, it was a sticker shock to people. I mean, can you guys tell me if you get a buyer and they call you and they say, hey, my price point is $200,000 and I want to live in Columbia County. What's your immediate thought?
We'll have to look for something that's small. Or that needs to be renovated completely.
That's almost $200,000 from the average sales price.
Exactly.
So you're probably looking at a dilapidated property or a foreclosure or something. For
Exactly. Because think about it, guys. These are average, right? Average prices. So that means that there are houses that are selling for lower, and there are houses that are definitely selling for higher. So with that being said, you know, the houses any lower than that, they're going to be below average condition. So when you're looking at a $200,000 in Columbia County, you're looking at either a nice trailer, right? Nothing wrong with that. People buy them, right?
Possibly.
Townhome, smaller. So just so that we can be realistic with what we're looking for, and then you're never wasting our time when you call us, so don't feel like that. If that's your budget and that's your dream, we're gonna do our best to try to make it happen.
That's right.
And it's our job as professionals to make sure that we tell you the truth.
Right.
So that way you can make an informed decision. Ultimately, the numbers don't lie, and then you can see why it is that we are not necessarily trying to convince you to go the other way, but it's just that you have to, it's a give and take. And you might have to have some things that are needs and some things that are wants, and the wants might have to go away and just focus on the needs at this moment if your budget is not where it needs to be. Awesome. I think that is a great video, great comparison. You can tell, guys, we are blessed. We are blessed in our market.
Yeah.
Especially considering the influx in the interest rate.
Yeah.
This is good data. Like
Yeah.
the homes are still selling.
Yeah.
And then and we want to bring, just light, because sometimes the media could be a little negative.
Yeah, they're super negative.
And what are some of the reasons why the media is negative besides the fact that the interest rates are high or low? But it's just that you can't totally apply it to our market because this data is hyper local.
Yep.
This was happening here in our area.
Right.
But the data that they show in the news is national.
Yep.
So you're comparing Augusta to Detroit. You're comparing Augusta to New York City. It's not the same thing.
That's right.
Even Atlanta, it's not the same thing, right? So we are very blessed. Like, it's very easy to take for granted things that we have that other cities don't have. It's easy to take for granted the fact that we have a military base close by. What does it do when you have military base? What does that mean to us in the real estate market, Erica?
A lot of turnover. So, we're going to have listing, always going to have a source of buyers. But just looking at the numbers overall, even looking at the properties that are $20,000 more, we're still selling at the same rate as if it was $20,000 less. So that tells me that when people want to purchase property, they're going to buy a property. And it's not going to be based off the rate, and it's not going to be based off the price, because obviously they're still selling at the same days on market.
So when people have to buy, they're gonna buy.
Yeah.
Yes. And when people have to sell, they're gonna sell.
Yeah. So what the market is doing.
Yeah. Well, we're so excited. Thank you so much, Erica, Vanessa, Antonio,
Yes,
for sitting here in my beautiful talk show. I really look forward to doing this more often. I really enjoy you guys and your input. And if you are interested in data like this and you want something very specific, this is just hyper local market, but you say, hey, I want to be super hyper, I want it to be property specific, can you please do a comparative market analysis for my house? Whether you're ready to sell or not, it's okay. Reach out to one of us. We want you to be empowered with education and information.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And then also subscribe and like our YouTube channel, our social media, so that you can stay informed with information like this.
That's it.
Yes. All right, guys. Peace.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.